Hi, and welcome back to 21 Days to Fred, day 16, where we're talking about Fred Rogers and his star power. And trust me, he did have star power. He had lots of fans. Certainly I was one of them growing up. I loved watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood as a child, and so did all my friends. Maybe that's one of the reasons that when I went off to college at Colorado College in Colorado Springs, that I was attracted to get into broadcasting. And in particular, I joined the public radio station there, KRCC 91.5 FM. That's where I was the weekend edition announcer for a few years. I loved it, met so many people there, had such a great time, and I really came to understand what it meant to be part of a community-based broadcasting station. And what's interesting is I found out later that it was Fred Rogers that set up that community-based station in Pittsburgh many decades earlier. He was one of the founders. It was on for, of course, many years. Hundreds of episodes. One of the most successful television programs really in television history. And it's no wonder why he, in fact, even earned a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Because after all, he saved public broadcasting. Many of you who saw the documentary, Won't You Be My Neighbor, will recall that he even testified before a congressional subcommittee in the face of one of the toughest senators in the United States at the time, who was ready to cut all of the funding for public broadcasting. And Fred Rogers got up to testify and absolutely melted his heart with tales of how he was changing the lives of children across America with his television program. So yes, he earned his star, and I'd like to go visit it. So why don't you come along with? Here we are in Hollywood, the Hollywood Walk of Fame on Hollywood Boulevard. It's filled with all sorts of stars from the stage and screen and television. Just take a glance down and see some of these amazing stars. This is a recording of Joseph Szigeti. Szigeti? Look it up. After all, look at that. There it is. Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers. Funny.
Of course, he's got neighbors on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Let's look at some of them. It's our friend the comedian, Sarah Silverman. There's one over here. What is this? Van Johnson. Oh, he's got a big name. Dr. Seuss.
Where you from?
I'm from here. Thank you, Spider-Man. How about that with Spider-Man?
Mr. Rogers. Love him? I grew up with this. I love him.
Hollywood's so exciting. There's so many people you could meet. Look, it's Man Chinese Theater. Should we see if Mr. Rogers has his feet and handprints anywhere? I wonder how big Mr. Rogers' shoes go in these shoes. kind of fun to put your hands in the handprints in the cement, your foot in the footprints. There's so many people here from all over the world. They love being able to connect with the celebrities.
John is in a photo.
Hey.
Mr. Rogers.
Oh, hey. So many stories from our trip to Hollywood Boulevard and our visit to the stars on the Walk of Fame. I really would invite you to go and visit yourself someday. And if you do, and you're looking for Mr. Rogers' star, the place to go is to 6600 Hollywood Boulevard, because his star is right out front of a place called Hollywood Toys and Costumes. And the funny thing is, the current manager is a fellow by the name of Derek Rogers, Mr. Rogers. And he reported to us that quite often, in fact, multiple times per day, people will shout out, "Mr. Rogers!" and the doors open to the costume store where he works, and he'll turn his head because he's thinking that the people are asking for him. But no, it's Mr. Fred Rogers they are. In fact, Fred Rogers, very popular. Lots of people visit his star every day. I was stopped many times during this trip to have my photo taken, and I did it happily every single time. So many people had their hearts warmed when they got a chance to be there with Mr. Rogers' look-alike, Walt Keller. It was really terrific. I had such a fun time visiting Mr. Rogers' star on the Walk of Fame. And, of course, we had to make a special visit over to see the new Hollywood Mr. Rogers. That's Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is, of course, playing Mr. Rogers in an upcoming movie. Should be out this year, 2019, at the end of the year, called It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Should be a fantastic film. We're wondering who your favorite star is. And do they have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? Have you ever visited it? We'd love to know. Put your answer in the comments here on YouTube, or send me a note on Facebook at Walt Keller, or on Instagram at Walt Keller. And of course, if you can, please subscribe to 21 Days to Fred. We'll see you next time.